Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to Wolfinia. This is episode 310 of my Minecraft survival series, and over the course of the past couple episodes, we've spent a bit of time over here in the quarantined district of Wolfen's Laboratory, building up the office for the great and powerful Mr. Wolfens. So I mean, of course, we've got Mr. Wolfens' office proper right here, but he needs and deserves so much more than this. So we have also attached onto this a personal study, a personal library. If we head on over to the other side over here, he's got a little dining area because Mr. Wolfens works so hard, he eats his meals at work, you know? That's why I gave him a personal kitchen back here. But Mr. Wolfens needs and deserves so much more, any convenience we can offer him, right? And I feel like, well, if we got the room for it, we are obligated to provide that. Yeah, I was about to start planning out the new additions, and then I realized, oh, hey, we don't have any beacon effects over here. Let me go put in a beacon. So I started putting in this temporary beacon, right? And then I was like, why am I putting in a temporary beacon when I could just put in a permanent beacon? So now I'm tearing down the temporary beacon and getting ready to put in a permanent beacon. So I'm going to handle that real quick and stop being lazy. Bear with me a moment. There we go. We've got a new set of beacons in over here at the far end of the quarantine district, which will make my job easier and also provide Mr. Wolfens with some benefits later. So now what I need to do is I need to plan all these new additions to Mr. Wolfens' office out. That's what I need to do. So I lowered the floor here a little bit to start, the one that links up the kitchen and the dining area. I still need to fix up the walls a little bit, but this will lead to a stairway that heads up to various rooms accessible by this stairway, all right? So let me tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking over here what we're going to do is we're going to have a room that will serve as kind of a personal storage for Mr. Wolfens, where he can keep any valuables he might want to, you know, keep nearby in his office space. And then if we continue up the stairs, I'm going to continue up by placing these because this is something I meant to do anyway. That will bring us to the top of the stairs. And basically this just kind of circles around. It's a little spiral staircase, right? But that will lead us up here into this area, which I intend to be a little rest area for Mr. Wolfens. You know, he works hard. Maybe we'll put a bed over here so that way if he tuckers himself out, he can get a nap. I suppose you'd call that a bedroom. And we got some space to work with here. So I was also thinking that instead of, you know, building a room on top of this, what we do is we extend this room. We put the ceilings up high because the last thing I want is for Mr. Wolfens to feel cramped. You know, I want him to be comfortable. This is a bit of a gamble because we got the apostate tower right there, which is kind of an eyesore. However, Mr. Wolfens might want to keep an eye on them, so it could work out. Anyway, I think that we are now ready to start building. So at this point, let's go ahead and call the drone on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Welcome back, everybody. And at this point, I've got some stuff to show you. Quite a few things, actually. We'll start over here at Mr. Wolfen's balcony. I know the balcony was not discussed pre-time lapse, but, you know, as I was like building, I kind of didn't feel like stopping, so I just kept building. In addition to that, I decided to go ahead and just finish off this back area, seal it off, you know, needed to be done. But now we can look at the areas that were previously discussed. So let's go ahead and make our way back to the vault, which I neglected to make a key for. Be right back. All right, we've now got our vault key. Could you imagine how embarrassing that would be? I give Mr. Wolfen's a vault, don't even give him the key for it. Oh boy. Well, at least we averted that crisis, but we can use the vault key to enter the vault. And I've already put some of Mr. Wolfen's valuables in here. Of course, he can store more. He can store as much as he would like in here. We give him plenty of room. To exit, we also use the vault key. We do get it back instantly upon entering or exiting. So it's nice and secure. If we continue on up the stairs, well, actually first, let's check out this area. So this is actually the main area, Mr. Wolfen's main office, right? Because I wanted to make things convenient for the boss, he can access his bedroom from the main office instead of having to go all the way down through the dining area and stuff. So, having a look in here, you can see that's a nice portrait of Mr. Wolfen's right there, looking straight at you. It's beautiful. He's also got some views. I guess the main view is probably of the Apostate Tower. Maybe eventually we'll give him something better to look at. Yeah. Anyway, we've got his bedroom over here. I guess his sleeping area over here, attached to a big old walk-in closet so that we can keep extra suits in here. That way, because I know he sleeps in his suit. That way, if he wants to get the wrinkles out, he just puts on a new suit instead of having to, you know, worry about getting it dry cleaned or anything. In addition to that, we also did a bit of work to the exterior. We got the big old Wolfen's Laboratory W facing the Apostate Tower. That way the folks over there know who's in charge. Mr. Wolfen's. The office at this point is almost done. In fact, I think we might be able to get it done today because there's really only one more area that I want to touch on, and that's going to be the area that we've left some space for right over here. Though, now that I think about it, since I cleared out some space underneath the balcony, we actually have quite a bit of room over here as well. Yeah, you know what? If we were to instead put the entryway right here, we have a lot more room to play with than we do if we come down right there, right? So I think we are actually going to do that. So let me go ahead and kind of rearrange things in here a bit. All right, so at this point, I think I've got the layout for this new area figured out as well. Let me figure out where to start with talking you guys through my ideas here. All right, let's begin over here at the Executive Office Hub, where we can access the executive offices. Right here, we recently put in a service passage dedicated to bringing Mr. Wolfen's food. This service passage will be dedicated to bringing Mr. Wolfen's something else. And I suppose I probably could have just kept this corridor going straight. In fact, I might change that up a bit. It's a bit of a work in progress still. I'm still working out the thoughts here, okay? Just let me figure it out. Anyway, I mean, the passage itself isn't even important. Mr. Wolfen's won't travel down this passage. Where he will travel, though, is down these stairs into his new recreational area. I'm thinking we might put a pool table right here, some billiards. This area right here is at his personal request, a little fitness center for him so he can stay fit. And when he wants to relax, we'll have a swimming pool over here with a dome skylight overhead so it feels nice and open. And I know it sounds like a lot, but I mean, Mr. Wolfen's basically runs his company by himself. He deserves all this. He works hard. He deserves it. You know, occasionally I will misplace blocks and just kind of leave it like that because, well, I don't know if I'm being lazy, but I also just kind of like imperfections. I think it makes things more interesting. But I'm not trying to have that going on over here with Mr. Wolfen's office. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make a good impression on the boss. Got my eyes open, looking for anything. Anyway, I think at this point, I am ready, owie, to start building up Mr. Wolfens' recreation area. So, let's go ahead and call the drone on over, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Welcome back, everybody. So, at this point, I think we are actually pretty much, or at least mostly, done with Mr. Wolfens' office. I can't think of anything else that I need to add at the moment, so let's just go ahead and have a peek at these new areas. Of course, we'll make our way down through Mr. Wolfens' personal library here, slightly rearranged, down into his billiards room, where you can see he has his pool table right here. Of course, this one doesn't charge. You just push the button, and guess what? He gets to play pool anytime he wants. Let me go ahead and collect these real quick. We can just throw them in here. Like, just throw them in the hole. Then they'll get put away by themselves. Over here, we have Mr. Wolfens' fitness center, where he has his, at his own request, a little sparring arena right here, which he did ask to be linked up to the dungeon. I know we don't have a dungeon yet, but I mean, this will link up to a dungeon, I suppose. I guess because his sparring partner maybe works in the dungeon, like a guard or something. I'm not exactly sure, but I mean, if so, I mean, lucky fella. He gets to come up here and just, you know, spend time hanging out with Mr. Wolfens, doing recreational activities. I mean, that sounds great. If only it was me. And then finally, we head over this way. We have the swimming area. I think Mr. Wolfens is really going to like this place. Ever like a nice hard day at work. Go for a swim in the pool, enjoy that, wash off the day. He can go over here if he wants to relax more. We've got a nice little hot tub for him. Yeah, this is great. I think the boss is really going to enjoy this. And of course, we do have a little locker room back here where you can get changed and all that stuff. I think that is about it for the office itself. Now, I mentioned the dungeons previously. That's where this corridor from the executive office hub will lead because, you know, this is a secure area. We have a security desk right here. Someone will sit here and make sure nobody gains unauthorized access into this area, which, of course, is the way that goes over to Mr. Wolfens' fitness center. Because only the privileged few get to enter this area, you know what I'm saying? But as far as future plans for the dungeon, I'm thinking it's probably going to be somewhere down here, accessible from this area. Maybe. I don't know. We're not onto that yet. Now, I feel like I know what some of y'all are thinking. Wow, this office has a lot of amenities. It's got a kitchen, a dining area, bedroom, a whole recreational area. I mean, wow, Mr. Wolfens could live here. And I mean, yeah, I mean, he could. I mean, it definitely would better suit him than the previous dual penthouse apartments we were going to build him, because looking at this is tiny. It's just too small for Mr. Wolfens. In fact, I think this is too small for Mr. Wolfens to actually live in. To work in, that's fine. But as far as living goes, Mr. Wolfens needs more space. And looking at this, we got some space available over here. In fact, if the villagers no longer need any residences, we got some space available over here as well. I mean, there's some stuff to tear out, but could you imagine if the residential district was actually two residential districts combined into one that housed only one resident, a mansion belonging to the one and only Mr. Wolford Wolfens? I think that would be great.
Okay. This is getting out of hand, but it's manageable, and I'm calm because I've had personal growth. Enchantress Arcana did say that when I get worked up, I should channel my frustration into something productive. And she probably meant something like studying dusty old tomes, but I think housekeeping probably qualifies as productive. Yeah. So tonight, after that dummy goes to sleep, I'll just calmly step inside his stupid little head, using that squiggly little piece of his brain I got. I'll tidy up in there a bit. I mean, he's probably got all his trauma just piled up in a closet somewhere. Be so much more functional, scattered across every floor of his dumb mind house for him to trip over every time he tries to form one of his imbecilic little thoughts. Yeah, it's time to escalate Operation Nightmare Ninja. Ooh, I feel better already.
I am so excited to show this place to the boss. Mr. Wolfens' office is now complete. An office befitting of a wolf of Mr. Wolfens' stature. I do hope that he will enjoy it. Yeah, I feel good about this, but I do think that is what we're going to go ahead and call it for today. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I do hope that you'll also stick around for the next one. In any case, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I will see you guys later.